Ladies and gentlemen, dear relatives and friends of the bride and groom from Geneva, from London, from New York, Sydney, Dubai, New Delhi, Sao Paulo, from around the world, really, welcome to you all on this very special day, this truly extraordinary day. My name is Andrés, Allemand smaller, and I am a secular celebrant. So neither a priest nor a pastor, neither a rabbi nor an imam. The bride and groom asked me to help them create a very personal wedding ceremony, one that mirrors their unique couple, their unique relationship. Because today, more than any other day, they want to be true to themselves, true to each other. And they invite you all to witness their commitment, to support them as they embark on this amazing adventure, this extraordinary journey, because you are their community, because you matter, and because you care. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the spirit of a very unique wedding. So those were the very first words of a moving ceremony I celebrated in September, towards the end of the wedding season. But how about you? Do you remember your last wedding? I mean, the last time you were invited to a ceremony? Or the last time you got married? How did it feel? How did you feel? Did the commitment feel real? Did the vows sound genuine? Did the bride and groom promise things they can actually keep? And did the celebrant's words, did they echo the values and the principles of this specific couple? Did the rituals performed to symbolize their union make any sense? I have to tell you, when I married my second wife, there were a lot of issues around the wedding ceremony. So we thought it was pretty simple, you know? We were in love. We wanted to make a commitment in front of our loved ones. But apparently we were really very naive if we thought it was going to be easy. Because you see, I was born in Argentina, so a Spanish-speaking Catholic country, into a family of Protestant pastors with ancestors from Britain, Italy, France, Spain, Ireland, and Switzerland. And to spice it up a little bit, I'm an atheist. Let's say an open-minded atheist. As for my wife, she is Australian, but she was born in South Africa into a Jewish Orthodox family, originally from Lithuania. And she has a guru in India. So you could say she's on a spiritual quest. Now, when we contacted wedding celebrants, they saw us a bit like that. And, well, apparently they found our couple a tiny bit too challenging. They said, you can't expect to put all that into one ceremony. So instead, we had 4 ceremonies. We had the ceremony at the city hall, at the town hall in Geneva, Switzerland, then a wedding in a very symbolic Protestant background, then a Hindu meditation near Sydney, Australia, and a Jewish-like wedding, by an Israeli secular celebrant who was pretty nice. She was nice, except she insisted on reading an Apache poem. Because I guess she didn't think, we were exotic enough. Anyway, on the way back from Australia to Geneva, while I was reflecting on my own multicultural celebrations and, wedding ceremonies, I realized there are a lot of couples out there in the same situation as us. And I decided that I had to become a secular celebrant and help other couples create powerfully genuine ceremonies to acknowledge both their diversity and their shared values. I had to help them reinvent marriage ceremonies. And I had to make sure that this sort of new wedding revolution be available, accessible to everybody. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we're going to replace traditional ceremonies. On the contrary, they're totally adapted to one portion of the population, so they should not and will not disappear. But what about everybody else? How do you squeeze all these other couples into specific boxes, whether it's a religious wedding, an interfaith ceremony, a strictly secular one, or even an atheist celebration of marriage? Why do we even ask couples to fit into one box? Why don't we instead create the unique box that will fit them perfectly? See, that's what I call the new wedding revolution. And I've been contributing for the last years, since 2011, and I love it. So for Sonia and Gianni, for instance, this is what it looks like. She is Christian Orthodox from Ukraine, and he is an Italian atheist. It was so moving to see Xenia feed her groom a piece of traditional korovai. Korovai is a braided bread that the parents brought to the ceremony. And then to see Gianni feed his bride a piece of focaccia with oil from his family's olive grove in Tuscany. And it was handed to him by his 2 children from a first marriage. A totally different experience with Noor and Glenn. We had bagpipes and drums playing when Glenn walked down the aisle with his close relatives, and then Indian music when the bride appeared in a magnificent sari with henna on her hands, and she was surrounded by members of her family who were holding a beautiful tent above her head. And then later on, they performed Ismaili rituals. And what do you think about this third example? I was so impressed by how Joanne and Mattox dealt respectfully with their different backgrounds. They had Jewish relatives and friends perform the rituals that meant the most to the bride. And then I, the celebrant, elaborated on Mattox's passion for surfing, which I discovered is a kind of philosophy, because it's about observation, about patience, and then action, and strength, and then excitement, and bliss, but then again, perseverance, stamina. I guess you get my point. The so-called new wedding revolution has many, many faces because it is all about authenticity. Every couple is unique. Now, couples want to be true. They want to be authentic. That means also that they don't view vows as an insurance policy for their future relationship. Their vows usually are about undertaking together an amazing adventure, a great journey, knowing that if they were sure to succeed, well, it wouldn't be much of an adventure. Now, I understand. It becomes a bit confusing for some people. I mean, if anything goes, then what is the definition of a real wedding? So let me say this. I believe a wedding is both, every wedding is both universal and unique. Universal because throughout the world and since the dawn of time, there have always been people uniting their destinies and communities developing rituals to symbolize and acknowledge what they hope will be a partnership for life. Over and above cultures and traditions, life as a couple seems to be part of our human nature. So many of us thrive when we find the right partner, the right relationship. So, a wedding is always unique because it is always the union of two different beings with their different personalities, with their different backgrounds. Even people who think they're very similar, sooner or later, disagree on things, or even they diverge. How do you deal with that? How do you cope? For the better? For the worse? Isn't that what a couple is always about? Ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful ceremony is now about to end. And in a minute, I will ask you to stand up and to follow the bride and groom as they walk down the aisle. But before you leave and go party, I would like to give you a little, a short French lesson, because we're in Carouge here, we're in Geneva. So allow me, it's for free. In French, the wedding rings are called les alliances, the alliances, because, you want to face life as allies do. But the French verb, allier, also means to combine things for the better. So to combine colors or flavors, to create a beautiful work of art or a delicious meal. To combine metals also, to create, hopefully, a very strong alloy. So yes, dear bride, dear groom, we're all gathered here together to witness that you are a magnificent match and a very powerful alloy. May you enjoy your life together, may you have a great adventure, and may you enjoy this extraordinary day. And now, let the party begin.